So, I got a wild hair to talk about easy curl bars for a second. I know this one's not particularly massive. This is not what I would normally use, but it was easy to lug over here with one hand while I had my camera in the other hand. Anyway, just a quick explanation in case people aren't familiar with these or don't know why you might potentially want to use one or why you might not want to use one. But you've probably seen these if you've ever been to a gym. You see these, got this little wavy pattern. Some have a bend that is more pronounced, others, a little less pronounced. But typically what you have is a bend here. You've got a kind of a relatively smooth middle section, then you have knurling, for a handle, and then a little bit of a bend, and then another knurled area on the other side. And this allows you to potentially, get a relatively comfortable grip, depending on how you're built, with a wider position or with a more narrow position. But this is particularly useful for people who are doing things like bar curls, but maybe they lack supination, right? Supination being uncrossing the radius from the ulna, right? So if this is pronation, this is an active from this position. This is supination, right? And this is a muscle action for the biceps brachii, right? The biceps, quote unquote, they flex the elbow, they flex the shoulder, they also supinate when they shorten, okay? So why is that important? Well, perhaps I want to try to shift the emphasis a little bit and perform elbow flexion without as much supination occurring, right? So I could grip out here, and if you look at my position for my hand now, it's not fully supinated, right? From here, I was about here, I can supinate more here, okay? And so if I'm trying to shorten my bicep throughout the rep as I do a curl, I can achieve more shortening if I use a straight bar than if I use a bar that keeps my hand or my radio-ulnar joint, in this position. So that's one thing. It might allow for some different training opportunities. Secondly, and this is actually, in my mind, perhaps a more important thing, some people simply don't have that much supination enough to comfortably achieve a curl with a straight bar, especially not if they're turning out a little bit and having to respect their carrying angle. Again, carrying angle is the angle at which your forearm hangs out from your body whenever you're standing in an anatomical position. So without any motion from your shoulders, if you're letting your arms hang down by your sides, most people, the vast majority of people, aren't going to have their forearm hang directly down in front of them. It's going to be out to the side just a little bit. So if you keep your shoulder in the same position, just flex your elbow from there. As you flex the elbow, your hand will be just a little outside of your shoulder more than likely, right? Unless you internally rotate the shoulder, unless you do something at the shoulder joint, okay? So I'm bringing that up because that reality can sometimes dictate whether or not a person can get a comfortable curl in with a certain kind of bar. So this allows people potentially to achieve a more comfortable curl because they don't have to do quite as much supination, right? They can be in a more comfortable position as far as their radio-ulnar joint is concerned, and as they come up, they may just find that to be more comfortable. And depending on how wide their shoulders are, this particular position may allow them to do that without having to do too much wacky movement with the shoulders. And then also, because there's a handle on the inside, you have an opportunity for people who maybe have more narrow shoulders or for whatever reason may want to be in a more internally rotated position as they do a curl. Most people that do that, I don't think they're doing it for any particularly intelligent reason, but if that were a goal, they could do so. But you can grip inside here. A lot of people say the easy curl bar is useless because you don't get full supination, you don't get full range. It all depends on goals. So when people talk like that, it tells me that they aren't considering all the possible goals and the possible ways to get to the top of the mountain, so to speak. And then also, they call this an easy curl bar, but by no means are you restricted to just doing curls. You see a lot of people actually use these for something called skull crushers or, an overhead triceps extension. Now, the torques involved there and the forces on the elbow and on the shoulder are things to consider. I might do another video another time on that. But in terms of grip, a lot of people find that the inner knurling on a typical easy curl bar is a pretty good marker, a pretty good position, and that inward angle there allows the hand to achieve a position that many people find comfortable. I've used it before, and it's not bad. I don't find it perfect, but some people are, some people are okay with that. So I just wanted to talk about this for a minute. Easy curl bar. Try it out if you haven't. See if it works for you.